Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. This is Dr. T, PhD, the prodigy of sports psychology, here on this very hot day in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm about to welcome my favorite guest right here on GoTarryn TV, where she's not hot. In fact, she's entering in her winter weather season down in Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, before I tell you who she is, you probably already know who it is. I'm going to invite everyone out there, if you please be so kind as to like this video, leave us a comment, and share it with all your friends and family out there. And that's right, you read my mind. You know that Natalie Joel, my favorite guest, my favorite keto coach right here on GoTarryn TV, entering into the wintry season down there in South Africa, is going to share with us some inspirational, motivational advice coming out of COVID, trying to enter back into some semblance of normalcy and how things are down there. And again, while we'll see some parallels between South Africa and America, I think we'll also see some stark contrasts as she's going to be explaining how everything's going in her world. So I can't wait to talk to her for the next half hour and get caught up with the best banting keto coach there is, not only in South Africa, not only in America, but in the entire world. That's right, my favorite guest is Natalie Joel. And remember, with GoTarryn Health and Fitness, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. We'll be right back in a second. Okay, welcome back, everyone. And as I promised, we do have all the way from Johannesburg, South Africa, Ms. Natalie Joel joining us once again. Natalie, how are you doing out there today?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. And again, like always, thanks so much for joining us, and especially here early. It's early here where I'm actually calling you, but I guess it's in the, late afternoon as we record this?
Mid-afternoon.
Okay, great.
2:30 our time.
Okay. Well, how's your day been, and how has it been since we last chatted in the last month?
Good. The weather's a bit chilly, but that's okay for winter. And we don't have terrible winters in Johannesburg. The winters are mostly mild with a few what we call cold snaps, which are very cold, but no snow, no terrible rains. It's just cold. At the moment, it's cold, but not very cold.
Oh, wow. Gosh. And here, as we record it right now, it's sweltering hot outside. This is entering in the dead of summer, right where we're at. This is going to be the peak hot season for us. So it's so funny how opposite it is there. And actually, your brother-in-law, who I also exercise with, Malcolm, and of course Lynette, they're going to be heading down to South Africa, I think sometime in October later this year to go visit.
Didn't know.
So
that'll be nice to see them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And how has your family been? Have you all been, managing with all the changes and everything going on?
I think it's mostly set. It looks like it's getting cold clouds looking out the window. It's mostly settled down, I think, a lot. And people who are unfortunately getting COVID, it's quite mild, comparatively speaking. So
good.
That's good. What can I say?
Yeah, that's the same as here too. It's funny, Natalie, because a lot of people have kind of kept up their habits, whether good or bad. But after the pandemic, for example, one of the things I noticed is that some of the people aren't returning to the gyms. And for me, that's probably, in my case, been a good thing, because I'll give you an example. As a personal trainer, most of the people I see have either been, in-home clients or meeting at, like a park or wherever to work out, not necessarily at a gym so much, as far as the majority of my clients go. And so in my business, I'd say that's picked up, and I would think in yours as well, since you do a lot of online coaching. I mean, is that accurate?
Things are picking up, and I noticed that gym, they have a studio for cardio. They have a studio for cycling. What's it called? And they have swimming,
right?
Spinning, and they have swimming classes.
And swimming,
aqua aerobics. And I'm noticing that they are now doing very nicely. It's really wonderful to see. And the personal trainers who are on the floor are also busy. So it's actually very nice going to gym. There's a vibe, whether I went like this morning at 7 or if you go at evening or late afternoon or whatever, it feels like it's back to how, not quite, but a lot back to how it was. Well, the classes, the studios are packed, which is
Oh,
great.
really?
The
Oh,
swimming
okay.
is busy, busy, busy. The cardio, whatever classes they've got, it's fantastic. It just brings a wonderful, calming influence into your mind that people are busy exercising, people are back to normal, and it's wonderful.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah. Here in the States, it has not been the same as far as fitness centers go. There's been, again, maybe Americans are different as far as being creatures of habit and getting out of their routine. But the two big analogies that we always see here, Natalie, are ones in the gyms. They're just really empty. They're nowhere near what it used to be pre-COVID. And then number two, the second analogy is churches and synagogues and such. More people are staying home and finding it more convenient to do it online when that was provided as an option. And even just surveying different people that I've asked, a lot of people have told me that it's just so much more convenient. Like logistically, hey, I could just stay in my pajamas and watch church on television, or hey, I can just stay in my home and do my workout and stream it online. So maybe it's different here than it is there, but we definitely are nowhere near even, I would say, probably half of what it was before COVID. And I've heard a lot of people at the different commercial gyms telling me that they've lost a lot of money and a lot of revenue because of that. So we've seen a lot of businesses, not only including gyms, but I'm sure you have as well, like restaurants, retail, just shut down and close permanently because they just couldn't sustain any more loss. It's really amazing. It's really incredible to see that.
It is. It is. Yeah, well, here, the churches and the synagogues and the mosques, people are returning. They are returning.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here we're having another wave in terms of, I always take what the news says with a grain of salt because you just never know if you're being fed the truth or not. But from what it appears to be, is that they're having some more cases, of COVID definitely spiking up and causing businesses once again yet to either temporarily close or they've brought masks back to some of the businesses as well. And so here we're definitely not out of the woods, and I think we're seeing the brunt of that. But again, from one fitness professional to another fitness professional, as you know, that should never cause us to not do our exercise and not eat right. I mean, all the more reason is when we should be that healthy, right? Because when you're combating that, the healthier
it's
you
all
are, the better.
mindset. Yeah.
Right, mindset. Yes, definitely. Oh yeah, absolutely. And a lot of that mindset, Natalie, with behavior modification and just creating good habits. I know that that's one thing you've always talked about on here. Have you had any challenges yourself as far as that is concerned in terms of just, generally speaking, just challenging you in terms of being able to maximize and effectively both eat optimally and also have the time to exercise like you would like to?
Well, I know my gym, as I mentioned, is getting back to getting busier. Other people's gyms, I don't know. I just can talk about my own personal one that I go to, which is 5 minutes from my house. But others, I don't know. Weight loss wise, I found a lot of people are still in the mindset of the world's caving in, and there's nothing I can do. I might as well eat and be merry because tomorrow I'm going to die. That type of attitude.
Yeah.
And everybody told me that they've put on weight in the last 2 years. It's been a very stressful time. A lot of, as you mentioned, a lot of businesses have closed. A lot of people have lost their jobs or whatever it is. Bless you. And it has created, or to get back to my word, mindset, people aren't as secure feeling as they were beforehand. I think it definitely has changed things in the world. So a lot of people, I could be wrong, but from what I'm feeling is a lot of people don't have that I won't say self-worth, but they don't feel that with everything going on that they are able to control their eating habits. suppose it's the same with gym. They're not going back to doing what they were because they just can't get their minds right, and that's
Yeah. That's very true. You're right. And like you said, it is a mindset, and it's definitely habit changing, and you see a lot of people slip into these bad habits. But what are some of the things that you've been telling some of your clients, or just helping coach with them to just keep those habits aligned and to stay focused? Like, what are some of the just key principles that you keep kind of just reiterating to them?
okay. Well, one thing I feel quite strongly about is the past is gone. The 2 years were very tough, were hard. We can't go back in the past and change it, but from today, we can start from today and live our lives. And we are the authors of our own future. And if we want things to change, we have to change. We can't say, I want things to change and continue doing what you've been doing up to now, then you won't get a change. There has to be a change from within to let the change come through. And if we don't decide we are the own masters of our own destiny and say this because of that, all the different various extraneous things which we don't control. We don't control. We've just got to realize we only control ourselves. If we control ourselves, then we can get back onto the proper eating, the healthy eating. I don't call it a diet, it's a lifestyle. Because if you eat healthy, why must you say it's a diet? It's a lifestyle. It's not a diet is like 3 lettuce leaves and a half a tin of tuna, This is forever. I want my body to be healthy. I don't want all the autoimmune illnesses. So how do I do it? I make sure that my lifestyle is right. That's what I put into my mouth and what I do. Exercise, no smoking, don't have chemicals all around, that type of thing. And that is what I say to my clients. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. You're on a lifestyle. People say, you can't have this. I say, no, you can have whatever you want. It's a choice. You're choosing not to eat this and that. It's not, I can't have this, I can't have that ever. No, everything's there. If it's edible, and for me, if it's kosher, you can eat it. Do you want to eat it? Do you want all the benefits that you're going to have from not having it? Do you want the issues of heart pain, indigestion, bloating, flatulence, all the horrible things that one gets from the wrong foods? It's your choice. It's your choice. And what you choose to do with yourself is how things will be. And that's for people to actually internalize that, I'm in control. It's my choice. I can eat whatever I want, but do I want to eat whatever I want? Do I want to not exercise? Do I want to sit on the couch all day eating crisps, that type of thing? It's my choice. And when you get that idea, when you know that you are in control, it goes a long way to saying, I'm in control. I don't need that whole slab of chocolate, I don't need those things. It's not that I can't have it, deprivation. We're not deprived. We are actually the opposite, because by eating those things, we're depriving our body of nutrients. We're depriving our muscles of doing well, that type of thing. Sorry, you pressed the right button and I just get all excited about it.
That's very helpful, Natalie. That's really true. I like what you said. What a profound way of looking at it, that you're right. We kind of do take things for granted. And I think a lot of times we don't see how that's so important. It's amazing because I'm sure you've probably dealt with this, but I've had clients tell me that they'll say, oh, Taryn, I just want to exercise and work out with you so I could eat bad. This way I could eat all the junk food I want and drink alcohol. I don't understand. I'm working out almost 3 to 4 times a week. Why am I not losing weight? But it's like you said, it's that lifestyle. That's that key word. Because more than anything, I guess people have to realize that this is not temporary. This truly is for the rest of their life. No?
It is. I've actually also got involved in, a friend of mine was telling me about his business. And a lot of the products are like the only organic certified nutrients in the world, supplements in the world. And the household products there's no filler, there's no junk. It's the plastic that the dishwashing tabs are wrapped in, for example, are so green, to use that word, is that when you put them in the dishwasher, they come out, they melt to nothing and that type of thing.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, just the type of thing I would be interested in, because it's pure stuff. It's excellent stuff, the best quality. So I'm now doing that as well. And it is incredible because there are companies, I think they were the first green company in the world, that sell products that lifestyle, that my lifestyle, that is good stuff. That is not, like, for example, washing powder, for example. You normally use like a cup or a half a cup of washing powder. It's 3 tablespoons. That's it, because there's no filler. There's no filler. There's no junk. The stuff comes out beautiful, clean. The dishes, you know, it's, as you can hear, I get excited about when I find good products as well. So that's what I'm also doing besides the helping people with the weight. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
So it's
yeah,
interesting. It's lifestyle.
It really is, yeah, and not only that, but also not only doing the good things, but also staying away from the bad things. Do you ever, Natalie, deal with people who tell you they're having a tough time avoiding alcohol, for example, or avoiding smoking cigarettes, or doing things like that? Yeah, like that's a challenging one, isn't it?
It's very challenging.
The addiction.
It's an addiction, just as smoking is it's definitely an addiction. When you hear, I've never smoked, so I can't say, but from what I can see from people, and they've told me that they would love to give it up, but they crave it so much. And it's the same with alcohol. Some people can have a few, but some they can't just have 1 or 2.
That's right.
And the problem is that sugar is exactly the same. It's also, they've said that sugar is a bigger addiction than some of the drugs, because you hear of people trying to break that addiction of craving cakes, sweets, chocolates, candy, biscuits, crackers, whatever it is that's super processed foods. It's because it triggers something in the brain that they get this happy feeling, and then they want it again, because that sugar triggers it, and it's an addiction. And it's what many people are unable to stick to eating healthy, is because they can't break that addiction. When they realize that it's not me, I'm not bad, I'm not terrible, I'm not a greedy gut, it's an addiction. And then you look at it from, it's an addiction, therefore what can I do to break the addiction, more than I'm such a terrible person, I can't stop eating. It's a different, also gets back to mindset. It's not I'm so bad, I'm out of control. It's why am I out of control? Because you see a person with cigarettes, they're also out of control. They cannot stop the smoking. So when they learn how to stop the smoking, they feel a lot better. So it's the same idea, that to get out of the addiction of the Western way of eating, because we are addicted to it. I mean, I haven't touched sugar and processed food now. It's coming on 7 years. I used to be addicted. I could not walk past the aisle. I don't know for you, but when you go and pay at the store, they've got this aisle that you have to stand in to pay, the queue, the line.
Oh, yes.
And it's loaded with chocolates and things. And I used to buy 3 or 4 slabs, and they were gone by the time I was home.
Sure.
It's an addiction. And now I look at them, they look at me, and we just say hi, and we move on, I don't feel that craving anymore. And it's something that it does, if you do work on it, it does go. And that's how I feel.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's that impulse buying is what we call it here. Americans, we're very susceptible and easy targets as prey to fall into purchasing any kind of impulse. Let's face it, we see advertisements all the time on social media, like, you notice your cookies on your browser are always tracked, because everybody can relate to this. You're looking for something on whatever website, and then 5 minutes later you go on your social media, and voila, there it is as an advertisement. Wonder how that happens, right? But so you talked about the addiction, sugar, and bad foods and such, but here's another one, Natalie, that you and I really haven't touched on or talked about lately. But what about this cell phone addiction phenomena? Have you noticed that or seen people fall victim to that as well?
Very much so. In fact, I put it on my status on WhatsApp and Facebook yesterday. I saw this brilliant thing. Cell phone has replaced cameras. It's replaced a whole string of things. Don't let it replace your family, because you see they had a picture of a mom and the dad with their cell phones, and the child sitting in the middle looking all sad because Nobody wanted to talk to. It's the worst when you're with someone and they pick up their phone. Hi, Taryn, are you there? I'm just busy with my, that type of thing. I can't stand it, In fact, my husband and I don't have our phones when we have meals together because otherwise he might be as well be in one room, I can be in another room, and we can have our own separate meals. If it's family time, we don't have our cell phones. If it rings, toughies. The other people in the family, if there's an emergency that they can get hold of.
Oh yeah.
So,
but you're right.
So,
and I'm victim to it myself sometimes as far as being addicted. It's funny because when I go to the gym and I work out, and once in a while I'll look at my phone just to, I don't know, check an email, look at a text, whatever. But it's just amazing when I look around at all the other people and they're doing the same exact thing, and they're not working out or exercising. They're usually just looking at their phone and in between a break or a rest or whatever. And it's just kind of maddening. I'm like, wow, this really is a powerful addiction, because the one that scares me, Natalie, more so than you or I being on our phones is the children. You talk about kids being neglected, but what about kids being on their cell phones, especially at schools now? And, one of the things that I've noticed that has been very scary is how these kids have fallen into this social media being an alternative world where things aren't necessarily real. And here in the States, we're dealing with a lot of these violent gun school shootings.
yes,
And yes, and not to go off
yes,
too much of a tangent, but you see that these video games, for example, are very influential, and the kids look at that and they shoot up the bad guys, and that's cool, that's good to do. But you see that these children sometimes, if they're living in this alternate reality, and they kind of take that idea to the next level and think, well, what if I, went and did, and then there you go, you see a school shooting of, a whole bunch of children being shot. And it's definitely a problem. I'm not blaming cell phones by any means, but I'm just saying that it's interesting how we could see people fall into bad habits. I mean, let's face it, cell phone's been one of the greatest, best technological advances of all time, especially our modern era time. But at the same time, we have to recognize the bad that comes with it, or the potential evil that can, be used in things like that, right?
Mm.
Yeah, and that's kind of scary.
Very scary. Very, very.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think that COVID, with making children study at home, that they all have they're all got to have their own little tablets or their own little whatevers. Firstly, it's a financial strain. Many parents had to go into that. I don't know about you, but in this country, they are very expensive.
Sure.
And now every child's walking around with a cell phone or a tablet or something, and it's terrible.
Oh, yes.
They should be playing in the gardens. They should be on the swings in the park, that type of thing. And they're just sitting, looking at things, making it worse for future. Battling to exercise, problem with the eating, the whole cycle starting 20 years earlier than it should.
Yeah, that's really sad because, I have young children, and my oldest, he's 7 years old. And the other day he came up to me and he asked, why don't I have a cell phone? I just started laughing. I'm like, you've got a long way to go before you own your own cell phone. And he said, well, my friend, who's also his age, he said, he has a cell phone. And I was like, no, he doesn't. And he said, yes, he does. And I was like, don't make stuff up. You're not supposed to lie. And come to find out, his 7-year-old friend, they're playing, sure enough, pulls out his new iPhone 13 Pro Max.
iPhone for a 7-year-old.
Yeah, I asked, I was like, that's interesting. Is that your mom or dad's? And he said, no, I got this for my birthday. And it was sickening because he's like playing some video games on there. And I told my son, I was like, look, I don't care if he gets one of those. You're not to get one of those. And he just got really upset at me and resentful and thought that I was, how can I be such a mean dad and such. But something like that, I was just laughing. I'm like, first, I didn't even think it was possible. I thought, there's no way. I'm sorry, a 7-year-old, there's no way he got an iPhone. And sure enough, he was telling the truth. I couldn't believe that. I was like really mortified. I mean, that's scary, isn't it?
Yeah. What have they got to look forward to? That's the sad thing.
Oh, good point. Yeah. And that's just, I like your idea. What you said is just putting the cell phones away, especially when you're with your loved ones, and having a meal, and not appreciating or enjoying time with them, because before you know it, we could blink and we're on our cell phone and we've missed some important events or some important people that mean a lot to us. And I just think that's a scary thing. And again, it's just who knows what the next great thing's going to be. I mean, it's just amazing how technology has just become that way. But you're right. I didn't think about that. That's a good point with the schools going virtually, and a lot of here it's been very politically divided, and you have a lot of people here that would like to continue the virtual schools and not have children return back. And I personally, I just see a great big problem and a snowball happening if that's going to happen, where they're not going to have kids returning back to work because to school rather. I'm sorry, I said work because I'm thinking about employees. That's another big one that's happened. I don't know if you've heard of I guess it's Elon Musk who's been asking the Tesla employees to get back to work. He said, okay, come on, let's get back to the office, let's go back to work. And there's been a lot of pushback on that. A lot of employees have cited, well, I'm scared, I don't want to be in front of other people because of COVID, I don't want to get sick. And I know they could hide behind that, and that's a great excuse for them to use. But what's next? Are we just going to be in a society where people are going to stay home and they don't have to go back to work and go to the office, or kids go to school, they could stay home and be able to just not be in public and be in social settings? So I don't know. I mean, hopefully I'm thinking too much into that, but what do you think? Is that something?
It's a problem. Children
Yeah.
need to learn how to socialize.
Yeah.
If they don't need to know how to get on with that horrible person in the class, because they're going to be at work one day, they're going to have those same horrible people. You've got to learn at school how to play, how to sit in the class, how to concentrate with the teacher's talk. If you're at home, you can do what you like. You can switch off your face on the computer and you can read your book while the class is going. They don't know. But the children need to learn how to be with other people. And apparently many people are telling me that a lot of children are suffering because after basically 2 years of no interaction, they don't know how to interact anymore. And it's a major need. I think that, we don't live on an island all by ourselves, catch coconuts from the trees and dig up some worms to eat. We need people around us. And if we don't learn how to be with other people, what's going to happen?
Yeah. You're so right. That's very true, and that's just something that hopefully, as we get back to somewhat normalcy, and like we've talked about, coming out of COVID and returning back to regular life, that's hopefully one thing that people will get back to understanding and realizing that it truly is about other people and building relationships, and it starts with the children and the kids at home and being out there and socializing. So hopefully that's something that we'll see. But that's again, a lot of great advice today, like you always provide us, Natalie. Again,
Thank
this
you.
is just so wonderful, always catching up. Just a few more things. What else do you have going on, Natalie, as we're approaching, I guess, your winter, our summer? What other goals and what other plans with some of your Facebook groups and some of your clients that you have going on that are exciting, and some programs that you're excited about?
Well, telling people that what I'm very much into is, because there's so much depression and there's so much scaredness and things, that I'm very much into people. We need to be happy. We need to be kind to each other. We need to respect each other. And by putting those goals in front, depression is a terrible thing. And there's so much depression now. I think it's also people don't have the right foods. They don't have the right supplements. So their bodies are lacking. They need various like vitamin D and magnesium and things to overcome these terrible things, and selenium, various things. And I'm pushing a lot of those type of things. Be kind to one another. Smile at people in the street. Acts of random kindness. It's just, it can make somebody's day. You don't know what that person walking past you in the street is feeling. And if you like their outfit, say to them, "Oh, ma'am, your dress is very pretty." You don't know what it can do to them. If you think something nice about someone, tell them. That's what I feel. That's my motto in life, is bring kindness and joy and goodness into the world.
I like it, Natalie. That's really well said, and such a great inspirational motto that you have there. So I think that people could definitely share and utilize that and that's wonderful. So again, Natalie, thank you so much. Before we let you go, if you don't mind, go ahead and let's please find out the best ways to learn about you and meet you directly if this is the first time that someone out there might be hearing you or watching on the video blog, please.
Okay, my name is Natalie Joel, as was mentioned. I'm a keto coach, and I love talking to people, helping them change their eating habits. I have 2 Facebook groups, Natalie Joel and Living Keto with Nat. I have an Instagram, Living Life with Nat, and you're welcome to join those groups, watch those groups. I have a YouTube as well that people can watch. You can see them on my group, on my Facebook groups. You can, I haven't done a few. I must get back to doing it again. And enjoy life.
Good, very good, Natalie. Excellent. Well, that's excellent to end on there, enjoying life. And we'll put your contact information up there as we fade to black like we always do. And Natalie, be safe, take care. And again, just stay wonderful and stay warm where you're at down there in South Africa. And until next time, we look forward to seeing you next month for another one of these.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. And here comes your contact information as we fade to black right now. We'll see you, Natalie.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.